it's T-Man with the voices on the track. What's going on, everybody? It's me, it's Dylan, it's DT, Dylan T, Grandmaster DP, D-Man the voice, Dill Pickle. Don't call me that. Don't fucking call me that. My family calls me that, and that's because when my mom was pregnant with me, she ate a lot of pickles and would drink the brine. Calls it pickle juice. It's not pickle juice, it's brine. And so I was a pickled baby inside of my mother as a child. And so, did you know that babies are children? Because I just said as a baby and as a child in the same thing. I'm tired, y'all. I've been doing auditions. I'm on the more depressy side of the spectrum today. But I still gotta crank out that sweet, sweet content for all of yous. All, 5 of you that fucking listen to these or whatever. We're trying to build back better. And it's taken a while, and it's to be expected. We're building from ground zero again, trying to get back to where we were and beyond, and it's taken a while. It's kind of discouraging that it's taken too long, but we work, we drive, we go on, we move forward. Today we're doing another Am I the A-hole? You know how it is. We're going to see who is and is not the A-hole today. Follow me over on Twitter, X, linked in the description. Like, share, subscribe. You know how it works. Let's go. Alrighty, tighty, lefty, loosey, boys, girls, and they, them, friends. It's time. Am I the asshole for not allowing my son to be punished after he refused to do his school presentation? I suppose that depends on the reasoning why he didn't do his presentation, huh? I can't think of very many good... I can think of a couple. But we'll see. Let's see. My son, George, interesting name choice, just turned 13 this month. Happy birthday this month, George. Congratulations on becoming a teen. It only gets worse from here. My condolences. George is very bright. He's projected to get 8s or 9s in his GCSES. What is that? I'm guessing that's GCSE like SIS, G says. What is that? Is that a new like American school thing? Is that a foreign school thing? Sound off in the comments if you know what that is. I don't know what the fuck that is. But good for you. I'm guessing 8s and 9s are good. That's good job, George. And regularly achieves these grades on his mock exams and assessments. Hell yeah, George. 8s or 9s on them mocks. We like it. But he struggles socially and has been bullied in the past. Tale as old as time. Sorry, it's rough out there, School's rough for everybody, We've all been bullied. Hopefully we haven't all been bullies. If you're a bully, fuck you. If you've been bullied, I know your pain. Not as much, because, I was bullied a little bit, right? Because, I was a big kid. I was fat in school. I'm a big boy now still. I'm in better shape than I was when I was younger. But, I was, obviously as an adult you don't get bullied as much, but as a kid, I was kind of fat in school. So I was bullied mainly by girls, honestly, because if you know, girl bullies are vicious, right? And mainly I wasn't bullied by dudes because I was also really large and kind of scary looking. I had the black t-shirts, and I was alternative looking, and also there was this incident when I was younger that a kid, a little story time with D-Man the voice before we get back into this. Sorry for diverging, but no, I'm not. It's my channel. But when I was younger, 8th or 9th grade in that area, I was this kid was bullying one of my friends, right? All day, he was fucking with him all day. And finally, it was the end of the day, and he was bullying him. He was calling him names and shit. And so I finally stood up and I was like, "Hey, leave my man alone. Enough of this." And this dude, the bully, stands up, right? And because he was kneeling in front of his bottom locker, the vibe. You got top lockers, bottom lockers. He was kneeling in front of his bottom locker because I was standing behind him. He stands up, turns around, and calls me a fat ass. Basically says, I think mind your own business, fat ass, or some shit like that. I don't really remember. It was a long time ago, but I do remember what happened next. Is I grabbed him, right, and I picked him up and I lifted him over my head, right, like long ways, and I threw him into the bank of lockers, full force. Broke his collarbone. I was suspended, not expelled because I never really been in trouble at school before, but I was suspended. That was about the extent. I had to apologize to him afterwards. Dramatic ass bitch came in after the suspension with a sling and shit. I say dramatic, but I did break his collarbone, so I guess he needed it. Whatever. But, yeah, so I did that, and, I didn't really get in trouble with my family or whatnot, because, like, I was standing up to a bully in their mind. That's kind of always been the thing. But, and I didn't really get in fights a lot, you know, like I wasn't that, but I was that reputation kind of followed me throughout the rest of my schooling, and so I wasn't really bullied that much by like dudes, because they were afraid that if they bullied me, I might hurt them. They were right. But girls, obviously, I was raised, you don't hurt women, you don't hit girls, right? And they knew that, so the horrible bully bitch girls would say really horrible, awful things to me in school. So, that was a huge divergent from the point of this whole story. I'm gonna get back into it now, but there's little backstory on me on my dealings with bullying and whatnot. Never be afraid to stand up to a bully is the moral of that story, I guess. All right. Okay. Socially been bullied in the past. Things are better now, but he isn't popular. Being popular is overrated. I say it like I was popular. I wasn't. As part of his PD class, what is that? What is that? What are these classes? Is this from... I feel like this isn't in America. Whatever. He had to create a children's toy and give a sales pitch to the class. That sounds awful. I don't want to do that. Last Friday was the presentation day, and George was really excited. He put a lot of effort into his toy and the presentation. Hell yeah, George. But I got a notification saying George had been given a C3, after-school detention. Y'all got special names for detention? That's C3. Oh, you got a C3. Shit, sounds like a fucking vertebrae, but whatever. Something he never received before. Oh, never got in trouble. Then that's a red flag too. It's like, what happened? As he'd refused to participate in the class and didn't do his presentation. When I picked him up, I could tell immediately that he was upset. I asked him what happened and why he didn't do the presentation. He said he didn't refuse the presentation. When it was his turn, he asked to go later. The teacher said no, that he had to do it right then or get a C3. George said, quote, he couldn't do it now, but didn't explain further when asked, so he was given the C3. Okay. Why couldn't you do it right then, George? What's the problem? What's the problem, bud? Let's read. I kept pressing him, worried that maybe he was being bullied again. Eventually, he told me the real reason. He had a random erection just before his turn, and no matter what, it, quote, wouldn't go down. Okay, so this Am I the A-hole here's for the boys. If you know, you know, fellas, right? I mean, 13, that's the age, right? That's around that age. That they just start popping up out of nowhere. It's true, right? You just be sitting in class, right? You just be sitting. The amount of times I popped a random chub in the middle of fucking homeroom, good lord. Like, and nothing happened, right? Like there was no reason. You're just sitting there doing your fucking work, listening to the lecture, and all of a sudden it's like, bing! It's like, oh, what is it, boy? Timmy falling a well? Like, what the? Why is that happening? Why did it happen? The reason is hormones, and you're growing into your body, and your body does weird things, and I mean, puberty sucks for everyone, but this is a very uniquely male genitalia thing. Sometimes you just be popping anywhere for any reason, and you don't know why. So I get it. I get why he wouldn't want to stand up in the middle of class, and also why he wouldn't want to elaborate to his teachers as to why he didn't want to do it. So this is, I mean, I get it. I get it. With that info, I think George's request was perfectly reasonable. I agree. Although you can't really blame the teachers for not, because he didn't explain that, because obviously it's fucking embarrassing. But like, so like, to them, he was just being defiant. So I can kind of see why they would, quote unquote, punish him for that. I mean, but whatever. But also like why you wouldn't punish him. Because you understand. He didn't refuse to do the presentation. He simply asked to do it a little later. Yeah. Obviously, he didn't want to explain the reason in front of the whole class when the teacher asked him. Right. But you can kind of see from the teacher's perspective how that could be seen as just being defiant, right? Because like he's just saying, I don't want to do it right now, and not elaborating as to why. You can see how she just thinks he's being defiant and some sort of punishment is in place there. So like I can see, but I also see why you see like why I understand why he didn't want to, right? But like his teachers didn't. His mum, okay, I'm guessing this is like England. His mum was really angry with him for getting the C3. I explained what happened and said I didn't think George was wrong. I said I'm not supporting the detention and would pick him up at the normal time. Okay, Pop, I mean, listen, I get that you're supporting your boy, right? You're supporting your boy, but from the school and the teacher's perspective, he was just being defiant for no reason, right? They don't know. They don't know what his reasoning was because he didn't explain it to him. So now you're also not explaining yourself. You're just being like, we're just not going to do the detention. Like, well, you can't do that. I mean, but I do understand you're trying to support your son, so I appreciate that, right? I see both sides here. When I told his mum what happened, she looked disgusted and said something like, why did he even have one in class to begin with? Oh, come on. See, here's a problem too, is too often, mothers, females in your lives, they don't understand. They don't get it, right? They don't, like this question right here, why did he even have one in class to begin with? It's like, we can't help it, right? Sometimes they just happen. Especially when you're younger. Like, I don't know. I know it's like maybe it's like fucking like Japanese to you. Like you don't understand it, but like literally they just happen. Okay, it just pops up. We can't help it. Okay, like that doesn't mean that we're shit horny or we're gonna like we're also on the prowl, whatever. It's fucking uncomfortable for us too. We don't want it. We don't want to pop a boner in the middle of a lecture. We don't want to pop the boner in the middle of a fucking class. But we can't help it. It happens, especially to young boys going through puberty. It just happens. Why do you have one to begin with? Well, hopefully the dad explains. Let's see. I explained that random erections happen. That's right. Especially in early puberty, and they don't always relate to sexual thoughts. Exactly. Which is what she was assuming. She replied, well, I'm not sure that's true. You don't get to decide. You don't get to decide what's true, okay? His father is telling you what is happening. You don't get to decide that that's not true, okay? Do you have a penis? Right? Are you a man? No, right? So shut up. You don't get to decide what's true. You don't get to decide what this fucking pisses me off. This is so annoying because it's like you don't know, okay? You're not a young boy going through puberty, going through changes with your body. You don't understand what he's going through. His father does, and he's trying to explain to you the awkward ass situation that arose, and you're just dismissing it out of hand. Well, I'm not sure that's true. It's like what? What do you mean? Like you don't get to decide if it's true or not. You don't have the penis. You don't not going through the changes he did. Just like a man or a boy shouldn't have an opinion on your period, right? Shouldn't have an opinion on your bodily rights. I mean, that's a whole political topic that I believe in bodily autonomy. I don't think anybody should be telling anybody what to do with their bodies. But that's besides the point. Like, no man. I mean, that is the point. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the grander political point. We're not gonna really get into that. But like, point is, like, you wouldn't expect if like say you have a daughter, right? And she needed to get up in the middle of class to go to the bathroom because she's bleeding through a tampon or something, right? Or she's bleeding through her pad. She needs to change her pad. She needs to change a tampon. Whatever her reason, right? Something uniquely feminine, uniquely somebody with a vagina, right? Uniquely, something that biological girls go through, right? So like imagine that happened to your daughter, and you're like trying to support her and be like, yeah, okay, honey, yeah, let's understand, and then your significant other, your husband, said, well, I'm not sure that's a good reason. I'm not sure that's true. He'd be a dick, right? He'd be an asshole, right? So now you're an asshole right now. Now you're an asshole because it's the same fucking thing, right? It's an awkward ass thing that happens to young kids when they're going through puberty, right? Dudes pop random boners, girls start getting their periods and going through that, right? Like, it's obviously, I would say that having the periods and stuff, it's way more uncomfortable, right? Like, I'm not equating the severity, but I am equating like how embarrassing it can be for that shit to be going on in public, and the fact that you, as a mother to the son or a father to the daughter, don't understand that unique struggle, and so it is not, you do not have the right, it is not your right to tell the then opposing parent who's trying to explain to you the awkwardness of the situation that, oh, that's not true, oh, I don't believe that. It's not for you to believe or decide is true, okay? This particular thing has nothing to do with you, okay? This is nothing to do, like, you need to understand that you don't understand this unique struggle, okay? And just take the dad's word for it on this one, all right? Shit happens, okay? Jesus, okay. Assume that's not true. Dismissing what I said, I told her, you might not be sure, but I am. That's right, Pop. I should have read the last sentence before I went off, but like, you know me. You listen to me. I just pop off. I pop off every now and again, but like, you might not be sure, but I am. That's right, Pop. That's right. He's like, you don't have to be sure, right? This isn't something that you need to be sure about. I'm sure. Because me, having been a young boy, I understand exactly what he's talking about. This shit happens, right? Exactly. She insisted we need to present a united front, along with the school, and that by going against her, I was sending George the wrong message. I asked why her way of handling it was automatically right, and why I should be the one to concede. That's a good point. It escalated into a big argument, which we haven't had in years. She said she's going to punish him for refusing when it's her week with him next week, and that I am being... Are you guys split up? You made it sound like you weren't split up. Wait, hold on. Are you guys not together? Because that last sentence made it sound like you guys weren't together. Whatever. She said she's going to punish him for refusing... and that I am being an asshole for, quote, going against her. Her mother texted me saying I was setting a bad example for George by letting him get away with being disrespectful to his teacher, which he wasn't even. Just asked to do his presentation later. I respectfully told her that she should mind her own business and that George was my son. Exactly, or I'm going to get into that real quick after I leave this last sentence. But now, I'm wondering whether I've done the right thing and need some other perspectives. Am I the a-hole? No, Pop, listen. As much as I understand that, I'm gonna start doing this new thing where while I talk and ramble, y'all can read some comments. But, listen, what I was saying is, it's like this person thinks they're not the asshole, but, what I was saying is, I understand from the school and teacher's perspective, right? Because he didn't explain himself at all, so they're just assuming he was being disrespectful, and so he got an appropriate punishment for being disrespectful. And you could argue, like I said, he didn't say no, he wasn't going to do it, he was going to do it later, and they could have just worked with him on that. But I do understand, he didn't exactly explain why he wasn't doing things, and so, I get it, right? I get it. You know what I'm saying? I understand. I understand why they would do that. But I do also understand the dad's, Pop's perspective here, because, he's just saying, hey, my son had an awkward situation, and this is what's going on. It's a biological thing. He felt embarrassed. I don't think he should be punished for it. Just understand, and let's move forward, right? Let's move on. And I tend to agree with him on that, because, while I do understand the teacher's perspective and, from their perspective, and while I don't think their punishment, given what they understood about the situation, was wrong, I do think that the dad now being hey, I understand what's going on, this is what happened. Maybe, the dad's right. The dad's right on this, because the son is going through something that he can't help, and it was awkward, right? And so, what really irks me here, and I said I'd go back to it, and we're going to go back to that, is let's just talk real quick about the boy's mom's mom, his grandma, getting involved and trying to tell Pop here how to parent. I always hate that. That always annoys the crap out of me, is when extended family, parents and whatnot, parents and whatnot, they think that they can interject their opinions and their thoughts and feelings onto the situations. No, that's my son, and I appreciate your opinion, but keep it to yourself. You know what I'm saying? I always hated that when extended family, grandparents and whatnot, think that they can interject their opinions and that their opinion matters as much as the parent's opinion matters. It's I get it, it's your grandson, but it's my son, so I'm gonna do what I feel is best. And I guess she's trying to back up her daughter, but whatever. But that brings me back to the other point, is the mom's wrong too, right? And I just glanced at this comment right here that I stopped on, and it says, so if your daughter got her first period and didn't want to stand in front of class because of it, your wife wouldn't want to punish her too? She's being irrational, idiotic, and inconsiderate. The three eyes. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point I made. It's it's the same thing. This is the exact same thing, right? It's your... say it was your daughter and she had, she had a period in front of everybody, you would expect some grace for her, right? It's the same thing. It's the same situation, right? It's an embarrassing biological thing that happens, and just like girls can't help, you know, when they're bleeding and all that. Boys can't help when some little boys, young boys can't help when they pop. You know what I'm saying? It happens. And like I said, I'm not comparing the severity, because obviously having a period is way more physically uncomfortable than having an erection, like, obviously. But, like, my point is, like, the level of embarrassment of that kind of thing happening in public, right? Like, say a girl, like, bleeding through her pants or something, or needing to leave to go change her tampon or whatever. And a boy popping an erection, like, in public, that shit, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, right? And I will say, like, from a girl's perspective, all that shit is probably more embarrassing, because obviously bleeding through your pants, like, you have to go change, you gotta do all this stuff, it's like, it's whatever. Whereas a boy, like, the boner's gonna go away, right? It's not exactly the same, but in terms of, like, just it being an embarrassing thing to happen, especially he has to give a presentation in front of the whole class. Imagine you have to get up in front of the whole class and give your presentation on, like, this is this toy I made, the whole time you're fucking standing at attention, you know, looking, well, put that thing away, you know, like the girls are screaming, crying, falling over, dudes are like, nice dick, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a weird, awkward situation for everybody, trying to just be professional and present your toy with a full wing, just everybody's looking, getting a real long gander at the three-eyed monster, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, you know what I mean? But it's awkward, so... Yeah, no, I don't think the dad's the asshole here. I think that the grandma needs to stay out of it. I think the mom needs to be a little more considerate of her son and the embarrassing situation he went through, and understand that what the dad's telling her is, like, he knows better. In this situation, he knows better. So, like, she needs to just kind of take his word on this one, like, defer to him on this one, and just understand, like, do I necessarily agree that maybe, like, they're, like, the dad's like, well, we're not gonna do the detention. It's like, well, from the school's perspective, I understand why they would do that, because he was just being disrespectful to them. So maybe go to the school and explain it, like, as a dad, be like, hey, this is why he didn't want to. You can understand why it'd be embarrassing. You know, maybe we kind of just let this lie. Like, if you haven't, maybe try going to the school and explaining that, because I'm sure they probably don't really understand, like, the whole deal. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you explain it and they're still like, well, that's no excuse, then be like, well, it is, though. It is. Like, and again, he didn't outright refuse. He just said he wanted to do it after it went away. So, like, no, dad's not the asshole. I feel bad for the kid. That's an embarrassing thing to ask. I mean, it's not going to be the last time, young buck. Sorry to tell you. It ain't going to be the last time that happens. And there's not really anything you can do about it. I mean, it does stop happening, like, really as much as you get older, obviously, as your body evens out and everything. But when you're going through puberty, man, that shit happens, but 2, 3, 4 times a day, just bang, for no reason. You know what I'm saying? It's really awkward. And so, yeah, no, dad's not the asshole. I feel bad for the kid going through puberty. That's rough. Mom needs to get some deference and realize that she doesn't know what she's talking about in this situation. Grandma needs to fuck off. Yeah. No, that's it. That's the whole thing. That's the whole bitch, right? I think it's outro time? Yeah, it's outro time. Outro time. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening and watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming along on this most awkward of journeys with us. Talk about puberty, huh? Popping peen in the middle of class. You know, it happens. It's awkward. Happens to all of us with the meat and 2 veg between the legs. You know what I'm saying? So, with all that being said, you know how it goes. You know the vibe. It's time for the special message, everybody. And today's special message, I've talked a lot about respect, right, on this channel. I mean, on the old channel, this new channel, everything. I've talked a lot about respect. And this isn't like a general respect. This is a more aimed, like, focused version of respect. And that is respecting the trials and tribulations and the struggles of the gender opposite of you, right? Like, I mean, and we're not going to get into, like, the whole, like, the gender's a spectrum. I mean, it is. Gender's a spectrum and all that. But I'm talking about, like, the unique struggles that come along with being a biological male, biological female, being a male in society, being a female in society. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, what we need to talk about with respect, in regards to respect, is respecting the unique struggles that you will never understand being on the opposite side of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are unique things that men go through, physically, mentally, emotionally, that women will never understand. Just like there are things that women go through, absolutely, that women go through physically, emotionally, mentally, everything that men cannot and will not ever understand. right? And then there's trials and tribulations unique to the trans experience, right? That cisgender people will never understand. There are things unique to the gay experience, to the bi experience, to the black experience, to the Asian experience, right? To the white experience, to Latino experience, like to every unique identifier we have in this world. There are experiences that are unique to that other groups will never fully understand and never realize what we're going through and what people are truly going through. And so what I'm talking about respect is respecting that you don't know everything someone's go through, and there are some things that people are going through that you will never understand. But that doesn't mean that you can't have some sympathy, right? You can't make an effort to understand. And understand that you may never understand fully. I'm going to say understand a lot. Understand that you may never understand fully what they're going through, but you can still sympathize, right? And you can still have some deference. You can still have some care and some compassion for those unique struggles, right? You may never understand what it's like to have a period, but go get your daughter those tampons, bro. Go get her some pads. Go, she has an embarrassing situation in public. Do your best, to help her cover up, right? Get her some pants or something like that. Get her a nice change of clothes, right? Like, understand that, maybe she's going through it. She's a little bit snippy, right? She's a little bit snarky, a little bit something like that. Like, understand that, while being uncomfortable is not an excuse, having that is not necessarily an excuse to be just a horrible person, right? But, like, they're gonna be irritated because, of course, they're uncomfortable. Sometimes they're in great amounts of pain. Like, understand that no two periods are the same. A lot of girls will have a lot of different things happening to them depending on, what they got going on. And just understand that, give them a little bit more grace, right? Give them a little bit more grace. And, maybe get some chocolate, right? But, and then same thing, as a mother, right? Understand that there are things that your son is going to go through that you just can't understand, right? You just can't. There's just things about unique to the male experience that a woman could never understand. You can't. You just cannot understand. Just like we as men cannot fully understand the struggles you go through as a woman, mentally, physically, and emotionally. You cannot understand the things that we go through mentally, physically, and emotionally. And that's why it really does pay to have a father around, right? Because a father that's engaged, and like this father here in this story. And the fact that he was trying to tell the mother of his son, like, hey, he's what he's going through is an embarrassing thing, and she just completely dismissed it out of hand like it wasn't real. That level of disrespect, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You can't do that. You can't have that level of respect. You need to understand that you do not understand, right? Understand that there are situations you're not going to understand, but do your best to sympathize, have some compassion, and defer to people who do understand in these situations, right? Like, let the black man tell you what the black experience is like and don't argue with him. You know what I'm saying? Let the woman tell you what the female experience is like and don't argue with her. Let the man tell you what the male experience is like and do not argue with him. Right? Let the trans person tell you what the trans experience is like and do not argue with them because you don't know. They know. So let them, if they are trying to explain to you their experiences and what they go through, let them listen, absorb, and do your best to understand, right? And understand that you're not going to understand everything, but you can still sympathize and have some compassion, right? So that's just the point of the day, folks. The point of the video is just understand that you're not going to understand, but still have that compassion, still have that understanding. I know I said understand, and I keep saying understand that you're not going to understand. I'm saying understand a lot. The point is, you can understand that you can't understand, but have some compassion, okay? Have some compassion and just have some sympathy and understand that you're not going to understand. I'm going to keep saying it. It sounds dumb, and I'm repeating myself, and I keep saying understand over and over again, but that's really the word of the day. It's just understanding and respect. Respect people, okay? And respect each other's differences and what each other goes through, right? What other people go through that aren't you, and will never be you. And things that you go through, they don't understand. Things that they go through, you're not going to understand, right? And respect that, and have compassion anyway, just from one human being to another, right? And if somebody from that community, from that group is telling you what it's like, believe and listen to them. Okay? You don't know better than they do about their experiences. Anyway, that was a long one. I talked a lot. This video's like 30 minutes long now, but sometimes you just gotta yap, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna listen to the whole thing unless you're my mom. It's fine. All right. Oh, that's the end of it, everybody. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow me down. The link to Twitter X in the description. You know how it goes. And with all that being said, everybody, stay frosty. Do the work. You remember, do the work. And I'll see you on the next one, all right? Have a great day. Peace out.